All right. Wednesday was a day off for the 49ers, but it wasn't a day off for the personnel department as they brought in some running backs and some wide receivers for tryouts. These are guys who bounced around a little bit. Some have been on NFL rosters for quite a while. And so that leads me to believe that maybe by the time the 49ers take the practice field on Thursday, they will have made a couple of roster moves. Why exactly running back? I'm not sure, but I would expect them to have a new running back and a new wide receiver. Now, wide receiver has been kind of a revolving door with some injuries, with Juwan Jennings out for a period of time with a calf injury, with Jacob Cowing out for several weeks with a hamstring injury. So 49ers are looking to bring in guys. Last week they brought in Quintez Cephas. He lasted only a couple days. They released him right before training camp. They brought in Equanimous St. Brown. So today, I fully expect the 49ers to add a couple of guys. The most notable player that they brought in for a tryout is Jeff Wilson, a former 49er player, came to the 49ers as an undrafted rookie and really played well, did everything the 49ers asked of him. I think he actually led the team in rushing in 2020 with 600 yards, but his best season came in 2022 after the 49ers made that trade for Christian McCaffrey. 49ers then traded Jeff Wilson to Miami. So the combined season for Jeff Wilson had nearly 200 yards or 200 attempts that year, but he had 860 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns for those two teams. But I don't expect Jeff Wilson to be one of the players that the 49ers would sign. Again, by the time you're watching this or hearing this, the transactions probably, if there are transactions, would have already taken place. But 49ers on the lookout for running backs and wide receivers, perhaps one at each position, as I noted. Another kind of interesting sidelight to this is that because it was a day off and they needed somebody to throw passes for those wide receivers and for the running backs coming out of the backfield, the 49ers enlisted Carter Bradley, quarterback from South Alabama. He spent time on the Raiders practice squad last season, so he came in for the tryout as well. Why is that notable? Carter Bradley, the son of 49ers assistant coach Gus Bradley. So they had him on speed dial, had him come in. And the 49ers are carrying 3 quarterbacks on their training camp roster. Maybe one of the few times I can remember that. Usually a team has 4 quarterbacks and they cut it down to 3 at the final cuts. Either they keep 3 on the 53-man to open the season, which I think they'll do again this year. They also could keep a quarterback on the practice squad. Last year, they had 3 quarterbacks on the 53, and they had Tanner Mordecai on the practice squad. So Carter Bradley, son of Gus, throwing passes around. So here are the candidates of players the 49ers can sign, and why exactly they need another running back. I'm not sure if there's some sort of situation health-wise that's going to keep somebody out of practice. But right now, the 49ers running backs on the roster, Christian McCaffrey, Isaac Guerendo, Jordan James, and Corey Kiner. And Patrick Taylor. So they do have enough legs to get through these practices. 49ers, as I mentioned, had the day off on Wednesday. Today is supposed to be a lighter practice and then a heavy practice on Friday. So here are the running backs who are in contention to be signed to the 49ers 90-man offseason training camp roster. One is Ameer Abdullah, played his college football at Nebraska, is 32 years old, has been in the league quite some time. Last season, had a good year with the Las Vegas Raiders, 66 catches or 66 rushing attempts for 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. So kind of a backup running back, special teams performer, and somebody who can kind of fill the Patrick Taylor Jr. kind of role. 49ers also brought in Deon Jackson, a running back, played his college football at Duke. In 2023, kind of bounced around Indianapolis, Cleveland, New York Giants, didn't play in a regular season game last year. Dearness Johnson, running back who played his college football at South Florida. He's been in the league for 6 seasons, 4 with Cleveland, 2 with Jacksonville. And so those are the running backs that the 49ers are considering signing as I speak to you. Again, word will probably be out right around the time the 49ers hit the practice field, about 10:15 a.m., maybe a little bit earlier than that. But that's when news will be released on what the 49ers are doing, if they're doing anything. But again, as I mentioned, probably a running back, probably a wide receiver. So Jeff Wilson is one. Ameer Abdullah, Deon Jackson, Dearness Johnson are the running backs. And again, not sure that Jeff Wilson is going to be the guy. He's the most notable name. He's the guy who could step in, but there might be somebody else that they'd be signing. As far as the wide receivers, the one guy that kind of stands out on this list, and I've known of him for 6 years now, just because I was at that Senior Bowl in 2019 and watched Andy Isabella from UMass. He was at that Senior Bowl when the 49ers coached one of the teams. And that was the Mobile to Miami year. That was their mantra, as they had a very rough 2018 season. What the 49ers idea was crush it in the draft and turn this thing around to be a Super Bowl team, from having one of the worst records and worst teams in the league in 2018 to be able to parlay their involvement in the Senior Bowl, coaching one of the teams, to then using that as a springboard for the Super Bowl. And they did it. It kind of seemed like a ridiculous slogan at the time, Mobile to Miami, but they ended up coming through, of course, in large part with that draft class. Nick Bosa in particular. And also, of course, Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel was really good during those practices, and he made an impact, obviously, as a rookie. So Andy Isabella is a guy who really hasn't caught on. In 2020, he was a draft pick of the Arizona Cardinals, by the way. In 2020, it was his best season, 21 catches, 224 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He played just 2 games apiece in 2022 and 2023 and didn't play for anybody in the regular season last year. So Andy Isabella, as I recall, a smallish guy, slot receiver. Another wide receiver they brought in is Marquez Callaway. Played his college football at Tennessee, 5 seasons in the NFL with New Orleans first, and then Tampa Bay. His best season was a good season in 2021 with New Orleans, 46 catches, 698 yards, and 6 touchdowns, but really hasn't done a whole lot since then. So he's trying to kind of reclaim his NFL career. And then the third guy they brought in as a wide receiver, Cornell Powell, formerly of Clemson. He played 14 games with Kansas City in 2022, hasn't had any catches in the NFL. So those are the 3 guys that are the 49ers are considering signing, as I mentioned, on the 90-man roster. Brandon Ayuk remains on the 90-man roster, but he has been unable to practice as he continues physical therapy, returning from the ACL injury. Really no timetable or any indication that he'll be available anytime during training camp. So look for him to start the regular season on the physically unable to perform list. Also, Jacob Cowing isn't expected to be back next week when the 49ers start. They practice against the Denver Broncos a week from today, next Thursday, but they're hoping for him the week after. And then Juwan Jennings, very much up in the air. Don't know how much he's going to practice the rest of training camp. Clay Kubiak, the 49ers offensive coordinator, described him as being day-to-day. Maybe it's more week-to-week. Would be the indication based on the 49ers looking to bring in a wide receiver. And I fully do expect them to bring in a wide receiver, either Marquez Callaway, Andy Isabella, or Cornell Powell. So that's the rundown from 49ers practice as they get ready to take the practice field here in a couple of hours. And luck to be this is kind of, like I said, kind of a lighter day of practice, as I understand it, and then a big practice, a longer practice, a more physical practice on Friday. But in the meantime, if you're watching this, hit me up in the comments section. Let me know what you'd like me to really focus in on and maybe address in the next video that I post, which I'm hoping to post after practice a little bit later today in the afternoon. So again, just let me know what interests you, what position groups or competitions, or how's this guy looking? How's that guy looking? And I'll try to address it. So just leave that in the comments section down below. And that is it for now. So thanks for watching.